Welcome to this EFT video for panic attacks. Now what I'm going to do is lead you through a process to help you reduce or eliminate your panic attacks. Now the thing you may be curious about is where a panic attack comes from, or you may be aware of where a panic attack comes from. Now where it comes from is from a past negative experience in your life. More than likely before you ever had the first panic attack. Because the panic attack is triggered by your subconscious mind creating feelings in your body to make you aware that danger is around. Now the subconscious mind is not perfect. What it does is it generalizes things. So it has generalized that past negative experience into some form that it starts to pattern match out in the world around you. So it will match up with something that is similar to what was the cause of your panic attacks and trigger the panic attack. So it's matching up with that past negative experience that you may know or you may discover as you're going through this process. But whichever way, you should look at this, not in such a negative way. It's actually your subconscious mind is taking care of you. I know you're not getting where you want to go or do what you want to do because of these feelings you're having. But it's your subconscious mind doing its best to protect you. So we're going to teach it something new because it will catch on to anything that's of your benefit. So you get to look at possibly what caused your panic attack and then do something about the feelings that it creates in your body. And once those feelings are eliminated, you have the experience you had, learn from it, that you're never going to experience something like that again, and you will be able to do what you've been stopped wanting to do because those feelings have disappeared. So if you've never done any EFT tapping before, I'm just going to basically show you first where the tapping points are. So here we go. You're going to be tapping here on the side of your hand. Either side doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed. And the same when we're tapping on points. This is called the karate chop point. Now I may not say what the points are as we go through this process, but you just follow along with me and say what I'm saying out loud. And then the next point you'll be tapping on is called the eyebrow point, and it's actually near the bone of your nose there, just at the ridge there. And you'll be tapping there. And all these points you'll be tapping about 7 times. Now, the next point you'll be tapping on is the side of your eye, along the bony point on the side of your eye. And then the bony point under your eye, you'll be tapping there also. And then you'll move on down to under your nose and tap there. And you're using 2 fingers, middle finger and index finger. So what you do then is you're going to move down to your chin point. And you're going to be tapping all these points, as I said, about 7 times. And then you'll move on down to the collarbone point. But to find this, you'll find the middle part where your breastbone meets your 2 collarbones. And just as it begins to turn, you'll feel a bump. That's the sweet spot, if you like. And it may sound a little hollow as you tap there. It may not, but that doesn't matter. Roughly around there anyway. Again, 2 fingers. And then you're going to be tapping under your arm. And it's where a lady has her bra strap. Approximately there. And then you'll move on to tapping on the top of your head. And this is where a child would wear a hairband. Just tap around that area. Okay, so now we went through the points. The next thing we're going to do is called the breathing exercise. Now, as I said, you're going to be doing the breathing exercise. Now, the breathing exercise works in this way, that you can measure how you're being affected in a good way or a bad way by your breath. Because anytime you feel anxious or scared, your breathing will get more tightened up or less, or you'll breathe faster. It's just a guide to tell you what's happening inside your body. So without saying too much more about that, what I want you to do, and if you've never done this before, you might find it a little unusual, but you'll get it once we get into it. So what I want you to do in a moment is take a deep breath in. So take a deep breath in. Release that now. Now notice, was that a full deep breath? Now if it was a full deep breath, you'd measure it from 0 to 10, it would be 10. But if there's any little limitations in it, I want you to put a number on that. Now don't try and consciously figure out a number. Whatever number popped into your head and how full your lungs were, I want you to go with that number, because this is the way we're going to measure the changes that are happening for you psychologically at a lower level in the subconscious mind. We're going to use that as a measure to make those changes for you. So what number did you get when you took a deep breath in and let it out? Now just to get a good grasp of that, what the instructions I've given you, I want you to do that again, and you'll get an idea then by doing it. So take a deep breath in and release that now. Okay, 0 to 10, how full were your lungs? Now whatever number you've come up with, I want you to subtract that from 10. If you're at 10, you're getting too consciously involved because you're here for a reason. So there's no way it could be 10. Because you're in your mind, at some level, you're thinking about those panic attacks. So the measure of your breath, you know there's something coming that's going to affect those panic attacks. It may make you feel a little anxious. So your breathing couldn't have been a 10. And if it was a 10, go back and do it again and check in. Measure 0 to 10, what number pops to mind of how full your lungs were? What number have you got? Now I want you to subtract that number from 10. And it's that number that's between the number you got and 10 is what's going to make the difference. What you're going to notice the changes that's happening for you. So the next thing we're going to do is begin thinking about that anxiety, that panic, where that may have came from, or how you feel about that now. And we're going to start doing some tapping on those points, and we get to help you make changes that you really want so you can have a more free, active life. All right, so now what I want you to do is I want you to think about any time you felt panic in the past, or you feel you're going to have panic in the future. What is going to happen that would cause you to feel that way? Just think about that in whatever way you can. You're just using your imagination. Just think about the last time you felt a panic attack, or any time in the future that you may be planning to do something that you feel you may have a panic attack. Okay, so hopefully something has come to mind. Now what I want you to do is I want you to take a deep breath in, fill your lungs, and exhale as you think about that experience. Now, notice if it has changed in some way already from the first time we've done the breathing exercise. Notice, has that number changed in some way that you got less breath in or more breath in? What has happened? So measure 0 to 10. What number pops to mind as you think about that panic attack situation? What numbers pop to mind? Okay, and what I want you to do is I want you to subtract that number from 10. Now with that number, just remember that number, but I want you to do is I want you to focus on that time in the future or in the past that's causing you panic. Even though I have those feelings of panic because of that past experience, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have those feelings of panic because of that past experience or expected experience, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have those feelings of panic because of that past experience or expected experience, I deeply and completely accept myself. Now, those feelings of panic in my body, 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 those feelings of panic in my body. Take a deep breath in. Release that now. Now I want you to think about that experience, past or future experience. And as you think about that past or future experience, I want you to take a deep breath in. Release that now. And measure on a scale of 0 to 10 what number pops to mind of how full your lungs were as you were thinking about those past experiences of panic or future experiences of panic. Now, notice if there's any change in what the previous number was. And if so, subtract it again. So we have a measure of what constriction that's caused in your breathing because of that panic. Just notice what number of constriction is caused because of that panic that is in your subconscious mind being created to protect you unnecessarily from an experience that nobody else is fearful of. Okay. So whatever number pops to mind. Okay, now that you have a number that possibly has changed in some way, whether that's up or down, I don't know. And if not, that's okay too. What I want you to do is we're going to do this again. I want you to think about the past experience of panic or future expected experience of panic, whatever suits you. So as you can see, this video can be used in both ways. So if you just want to work on the past first, that's okay. And if you want to work on the future expected experiences of panic, that's okay. So you have many uses of this video. You can use it one way, one time, and the other way, the next time. Or use it as many times as you wish to get the results you want. Once you get a little bit of result, it's worth continuing to do this. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to begin tapping on the karate chop point while saying out loud after me, even though I have that remaining number of panic from that past or future experience, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have that remaining number of panic from that past or future experience, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have that remaining number of panic from that past or future experience of panic, I deeply and completely accept myself. Those feelings of panic, 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 those feelings of panic. Take a deep breath in and release that now. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to think about your past or future experience of panic. Again, take a deep breath in as you do that. Release that now. And notice if anything has changed in your breath or the way you are thinking about that experience. Maybe you're getting pictures in your mind that have changed in some way, or just the thoughts in your mind, the imaginations in your mind have changed in some way, past or future. Just notice any change. Notice if you feel more relaxed about thinking about that past or future experience of panic. And we'll do another round of this and see where it takes us. Okay, so before we do that next round, I want you to think of the past experience of panic. Get it vividly in your mind. What was happening then? Or your future experience of panic, whichever you're working on. Think of what you're expecting from what you previously experienced. Think of what you're expecting in the future. And as you do that, I want you to take a deep breath in. Release that now. And notice if there's any restrictions in your breathing as you do that. Think of the past or future experience. Just notice what comes to mind. Measure 0 to 10 on those feelings. Very good. What number comes to mind? Subtract it from 10. Be great if you're at 10, but if not, subtract it from 10. And that remaining constriction that's there. So let's work on that remaining constriction by, again, tapping on the karate chop point and saying it loud after me. Even though I have that remaining constriction of feelings of panic, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have that remaining constriction of feelings of panic, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have that remaining constriction of feelings of panic, I deeply and completely accept myself. That remaining constriction in my breathing. 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 Take a deep breath in. And release all that now. Now think about your past experience of panic or your future experience of panic. Take a deep breath in. And as you release that, notice how full your lungs were at that time. And if they're not quite to 10, or if you're completely happy, that's okay too. But if they're not quite at 10, you can go back and go through this whole series one more time. Or 2 more times, as many times as you wish, working on past experience of panic or future experiences of panic. So I hope I've helped you in some way get some relief in your life so that you can move out into the world feeling more relaxed and confident that you will not feel panic or anxiety in those situations you used to in some way.